This guy, Nimai Delgado. This request comes by way of Chris. This guy is a plant-based bodybuilder. Chris is like real hyped about him. Like I didn't realize. I thought Chris just wanted to comment about him as a whole. But Chris is like, no, dude, like you need to get him on a podcast. I'm like, I tweeted him earlier today, and apparently Nimai, he has his own podcast where he has like vegan people on there, and that's,
we don't fit that bill.
we don't fit that bill, and like, I don't know how busy or willing he is to
jump on someone else's podcast.
I mean, it's crazy though, because like that's how I always felt with all our other guests in the past, and they were, you know, more than willing half the time. But I feel like with the time that's passed, like podcasts are even more prevalent than ever, and people are more tied up with like doing their social media stuff. So we'll see. I mean, that's always possible on the docket, but that'll most likely be like a 1-to-1 because coordinating like a 3-way call now. I don't know how that works. One reservation that's good to have with a lot of plant-based bodybuilders or vegan bodybuilders is typically a lot of those people start off with a regular diet or a non-vegan, non-vegetarian diet, and then they transition later. But according to Nimai, like his case is that he's always been vegan. He's never had meat and so forth. You know, people are quick to interject, oh man, then that means steroids. But what's the bottom line here, Chase? Like
whether you get 2,000 calories from meats and fruits and vegetables or just fruits and vegetables and other things, like 2,000 calories. The composition of it definitely changes, but as far as aesthetic and fat loss and everything else composition goes, you know, whether you get it with meats or whether you get your protein from meats or whether you get your protein from all other sources, like go for it. It just makes, you know, if it's a moral thing, cool. Like that's your preference for sure. If it's like, you just think it's going to do better for you in the long run, like you're just making life harder on yourself because options are much more limited in our world. And I think they'll always be that way, no matter how big of a trend it becomes.
You're talking about like the macronutrient breakdown, right? Like some fats, proteins, and carbs. Or
yeah, if your main objective is to build muscle, and to do that you need protein, your options become limited when you knock out whole entire protein categories, like your dairy and your meats. You know, you're knocking out, you know, poultry. You're knocking out all this different, you know, everything gets knocked out of the picture when you are talking about being vegan as far as what you can have. Now, there's still options out there, don't get me wrong. Obviously, like this guy's vegan. He's done it his whole life. Like, and he's got great, from the pictures I saw, he does have just great muscles, you know, but he's made a choice in that realm, and he gets to the point, and like we all do when we get really good at our dieting, where we just make it work and it seems easy as can be.
The big takeaway is it's not impossible, but for a lot of people, it's harder. Could most people benefit from more vegetables or like maybe less fatty meats and that type of thing? Absolutely. But is introducing more plant-based foods into your nutrition gonna be the fix? You know, in a big segment of the population, maybe, but to me, like that's also the danger, like just thinking that, hey, it's just one thing, like, oh, magic cure, magic solution. Mm-hmm. And I know, again, like we have that talk, it's like that's what the whole fitness industry is about, like change that one thing, man, like one step, and like demonizing stuff. To me, I always like talking about options, and you can lay it out on the table, and if it ends up being like easier to process for you to say like this good, this bad, you can do it that way. But I don't like doing it like that.
It creates a even more unbalanced relationship with food. You know, like having moral hierarchy of like where your food lands. It's like food has no morals. Like it's all in like portion sizes and what your goals are. You know, if you're eating to be happy, eat to be happy. Like, that's cool. Like, eat what you like. That's fine. If you're eating to lose weight, then you have guidelines that help you follow. And there's no food that won't fit in those guidelines. There's just foods that should be encouraged, and there's foods that should probably be discouraged as far as, you know, should only have And I mean discouraged as far as like you probably shouldn't eat large quantities of these foods. It's not like they should be excluded, because I mean, we've seen it plenty, and I'm sure we talked about it some, is that just when you create exclusions, you start creating like a want in the brain for what you've excluded, even if it's not anything like you really love. Like, you may not even be a big sugar eater, but if you say, I'm not eating any sugar for 30 days, I guarantee you'll want a lot of sugar for those 30 days.
Maybe one more thing that we can comment on, unless you got something, but
no.
Let's take the vegan or plant-based component out of this. What should people keep in mind, Chase, like if they idolize any kind of bodybuilder? They see this and they're like hashtag goals or like dream body or whatever. And again, I'm not saying you can't do that, but what would just be the extra considerations to have in mind, since you've done physique shows, you are a bodybuilder?
I think you like hit the head of the nail. Like you say, he's been doing his whole life. Like it's not something he just picked up last year and got like shredded and jacked doing it. Like, so your expectations have to be, you have to cater your expectations, or you have to shape your expectations based on yourself, because you're not going to be him. You don't have his mom and dad, so your genetics are different. Your lifestyle has obviously been different if you're looking to make a change to his lifestyle. So what you've done to your body already is like something that will affect like what it is to come as far as changes. Your mental state will be different. This guy might be doing it more for a job where you have your normal 9-to-5 job, you have a family. He may not have all these other distractions that will come into your life that make, his complicated choice in his life is his diet. That's the complicated choice. Your complicated choice may be how to get your kids to school on time in the morning, like how to make ends meet when you come home, like, and then to try to throw something that's even more complicated, like an exclusion diet, like being vegan. The more you complicate things, the harder things get in life. And I mean, that can be said with anything,
I'm not trying to dissuade anybody. I'm not trying to say it is impossible. Sometimes like having that hero in your mind, like to pump yourself up, like that makes it quote unquote easier for you to overcome those type of obstacles. But it's just like laying out the context. That's the real important thing there. And that's up to you, how much you want to adhere to it, or how much you want to navigate throughout your life to reach that end goal. Or, having that temporary hero might lead you to a better place. So I'm not telling anybody not to idolize Nimai, not to follow his stuff or whatever. It's just pull back, look at how all this fitness stuff, how it all pertains to you in your current situation right now.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. Like, if you can glean a something that he does that would fit your lifestyle very well and add value to it, then for sure take away from it. Because just about everyone has something to offer somewhere, and you just have to be able to like take the piece away and not the entire thing, because your exact life is not going to match up to theirs. So you just got to be able to find what you can make work to better yourself.
And that's that, unless we get him on a podcast.
And then I'd be like, heard what you said about me.
Look at these guys, a-holes of a-holes.
Comes in, dude, a beef war would be awesome. I'd be like, you said you didn't want no beef.